This is Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, commencing the Saturday Ragchew Net. There's a bit of sound coming back, so we'll turn that one off. So I've done the usual, starting to become usual, pre-check-ins. So we have got Whiskey Alpha 5 Romeo India Papa was first, GW5 VOG Steve, and G0 EUZ. If you'd like to be number 5 into the Saturday Ragchew Net and you've not heard your name called, go ahead with your call sign, name and location. Okay, nothing heard, but we've got that pre-check-in, so I'm not talking to a wall. So we go round to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Thanks, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa here. We're waiting on storms to roll in. We had a pretty nasty storm Thursday night, and we're waiting on the next round to come through. Apparently, from what I understand, Oklahoma way, they had quite a bit of flooding, so I'm hoping we don't have it today. Other than that, everything's going okay here, at least for the time being, and looking forward to a great net. And I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, thanks there, Michael. And yeah, waiting for a storm to come in, and not all that good, is it? Yeah, reset the camera. I moved out the way, and yeah, I was still sat there. That was good. But that's going through the Wi-Fi off the phone camera that I'm waving at. But you can see me on the back as well. So we go round to GW5 VOG, Steve.
GW5VOG returning. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Michael. And good evening, Rod, the old Three Musketeers and D'Artagnan. Yet again. Anyway, let's hope we have a few more people joining in. Okay, as I see on your live feed, and I know anyway, it's World Amateur Radio Day today, so very appropriate that we're doing this now. And this morning was a live feed of the RSGB AGM, so I don't know if anyone else watched it. I did, and wasn't the most exciting thing I've ever watched, but it was quite interesting. And there was a talk about defending the spectrum and that sort of thing, and they had someone from the IARU, International Amateur Radio Union, and he mentioned it was Amateur Radio World or International Amateur Radio Day today, and he actually filled in the details. The reason why it's today was the first, I think 60 years ago or something, the first meeting of the IARU, the International Amateur Radio Union, was on the 18th of April, so that's why it's World Amateur Radio. So there you go. That was my exciting morning. I've been in the garden the rest of the day because it's quite sunny here. Although we had a little tiny matter of rain one time, which was a bit surprising. Anyway, okay, back to you, Chris M7CCS from GW5 and DMR TG6.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, thanks very much there, Steve. So we will go round to Rod, G0 EUZ. Round to you there, Rod.
G0 EUZ. Good evening to you, Chris. Good evening to Michael, and good evening to Steve. Been a lovely day down here. A little bit cool, but there's been sunshine all day. A little bit windy as well, but only light winds. But coolish winds. So, thanks for the information on the radio there. I wasn't aware. I have seen it on Facebook, but I didn't know the history of it. So there we go, we're educated. Yeah, this storm you're getting, Michael, I hope it doesn't do too much, cause you too much problems. Like I say, we seem to have got out of our storms. A much worse year last year, I think, this time, but yeah, we're doing all right. I've been doing the 145 alive, although I only made one contact. I couldn't hear the net controller at all. And he's not that far from me. He must just be over the hill to me. But I couldn't hear him at all. So the only reason I got in was because somebody else let me in and got me in the log. There we go. Back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0EUZ.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, yeah, I was aware it was 145 alive. I done my morning posts. I done my amateur radio day post. And then I kind of stayed away. Because I was starting to see some negative stuff on there. And it was about that event. And people turning around and saying, oh, I turned my radio on, and what a waste, I didn't hear a single station, and all that kind of thing. But of course, yeah, you've got to check whether there's going to be any stations local to you. That's sometimes one. But of course, yeah, people up and moan and have a roar, that they don't hear anything. And of course, yeah, you know, it's not all about just these events, really, is it? We should use 2 and 70 all the time. I try to. The other night I was actually using 2 and 70, chatting away there. And of course I went on the old hubnet as well. But that was just a test that the programming was right, because I didn't know in my Anytone software which way round you do the CCTS. It had been 5 years. And yeah, the story on that one was quite literally it was Sunday. I turned the DMR Anytone on, Ron and Hans and of course Frank talking away there, and I went to key up, and the radio, well, I say it bricked itself, but yeah, I had to take the battery off. I couldn't even turn it off. Turned it back on, lost its code plug. Could I find the cable? Could I? How? But I spoke on the W.D.R.G meeting on the Sunday, and happened to mention it. City said he had one. Pablo said he had one. Probably spare. Of course, if you've got an Anytone radio, you can just use a TYT or a retrovis cable as well. Same cable. And managed to, yeah, code plug writing. That's been mostly my radio this week, but that's why I ended up on hubnet. Ended up on there, and yeah, ended up chatting away for about an hour and a half. And no one come and told me off. But yeah, it's all good there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give a call out there, and I'm going to see if anyone else would like to join us on the Saturday Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over.
Lima Bravo 6 Oscar Juliet, Nissedal, Norway.
Okay, just to get a confirmation, Lima Bravo 6 Oscar Juliet, it was Norway. Back to you.
All copied, yeah. I dropped out of my open spot briefly, sorry about that. Name this side is Ian, India Alpha November, and I'm in Nissedal, which is a small municipality in the county of Telemark, Norway. Call sign LB60J. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks very much there, Ian. You've come into the Saturday Ragchew Net, and of course you've come in via cqnorthwest. So of course, yeah, meet up every week, have a bit of a chat around, and of course, yeah, we came to the point where we offer it out to have an over and of course check in. But of course, it is first time. Yeah, some people like to have a little bit of a listen round as well. So I'm going to see if anyone else would like to check into the Saturday Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over.
Mike 8 Hotel Yankee. Operator's name is Gabriel. My QTH is 22 miles directly south of Belfast in Northern Ireland, UK.
Yeah, thanks very much there, Gabriel. Got you in the log there. I'll probably try and listen and confirm the call sign. But so far I've got Mike 8 Hotel Yankee, but yeah, it took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting a call there. But we're going to go round the list, and we're going to go up to Michael again. So we go back round the list to Whiskey Alpha 5. Romeo India Papa, and welcome to the people that have just checked in, Ian and Gabriel.
Thanks, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa. Good to hear from Steve, and good to hear from you, Rod. It's been a good week. I hope everybody had a great week out there. Yeah, the storm was kind of nasty here. It took out a few telephone poles. This was Thursday night. Took out a few telephone poles and some trees. Nashville is the next big city over from me. They were out of power for over 12 hours in several parts of the city. I never lost my power. I never blinked, but my son did lose his for about 6 hours. The trash can, I have two rather large trash cans, 55 gallons. One went one direction towards my side yard, my side garden. The other one we lost, I thought, because it went the other direction, went into the front garden, and then came back up under my wooden ramp that I have on the front of my house and tucked itself up under there. It took my wife about a good few minutes to find it when she went out looking because it wasn't visible from where we were at. So it was kind of strange like that. The wind was like it came from 2 or 3 different directions before the night was over, almost like a tornado. But as far as FTA, right, I'm doing pretty good today. I've actually made a FTA contact on the Mexico United States border, and in the opposite direction, I got one from Calgary, Canada. So very widespread out. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Chris. Looking for a great net, and good to have 2 other new people here with us today. Welcome to the net. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yeah, it's always good to have new people onto the net as well. And of course, yeah, people of old as well. Of course, the W.D.R.G network, it actually it shook up on Thursday night. And yeah, we had a few people chatting away, coming through the WW repeater. So of course, yeah, we're being heard there. So I might get some people joining from there. But you know, some people like to just sit back and listen. So we will go round to Steve, GW5 VOG. Round to you there, Steve.
GW5 VOG returning. Thanks, Chris. Good evening to Ian and Gabriel. Yeah, Ian in Norway. I've just got a feeling that you've been on before. It seems to ring a bell with me. Perhaps I'm imagining it. I don't know, but I just, oh yes, you came on once before. I don't actually log this net on QRZ or anything like that, so I just use a bit of paper so I remember the call signs. But so I haven't got any way of checking, but perhaps you could let us know. Have you been on before and Chris has forgotten? Yeah, I didn't get Gabriel's call sign either. It sort of was cut off at the beginning, I think. So he can fill us in when it's round to him. Yeah, so that was a bit funny with your bins there, doing a circuit of the house and ending up on your front porch. Perhaps it's a sort of self-loading bin that turns up and opens its own lid, and you can fill it then. We have lots of bags we don't have bins. Although I've got a bin in my back garden to keep the bags in while they're waiting. So we have black bags for non-recyclable stuff, and then millions of cloth recyclable bags. So you can imagine quite often those cloth bags do go for a walk up the road. So many of the time I have to like go up and down the road looking for my missing bags. Now I had one bag that disappeared and I could not find it anywhere. And so anyway, I just got a new one. You can get them from the library, which is just over the road, fortunately. So I got a new one. And the weird thing is, it turned up about 6 months later. It suddenly reappeared. So I don't know where it had been. I think it's obviously someone had taken it in by mistake. And I've got my street number and street name written all over them. They must have not noticed until 6 months later. They must have said, "Oh, look, this isn't ours." Anyway, so there we are. It's we have a system of about 11 cloth bags some weeks. Sorry, finger came off the PTT then. Back to you, Chris. M7CCS from GW5VOG.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie here. I was thinking then, was that a timeout, or was that off the PTT? You came back and said off the PTT before I thought it. Of course, yeah, I was actually looking at I looked at the time and I was like, nah, it's not a timeout. Yeah, it's all good there. So we will go around to Rod G0EZ. I've just noticed I've typed him in wrong. I've put him as GOEUZ. Yeah, we put the 0EUZ as details well match up. Over to you there, Rod.
G0EUZ returning. I lost you altogether when after Ian. So I don't know what happened there, but you came back for Gabriel. So I don't know what happened there. I could see your ID number on the screen. So anyway, never mind. You were coming across the the live feed, so it's obviously at my end. But there we go. So good evening to Ian and Gabriel. Nice to hear you on, and you're most welcome. So yes, as I think I said last week, my local radio rally is tomorrow. So looking forward to that. I don't want to buy anything, but that doesn't seem to affect me. You can't not buy something, can you? Anyway, we'll see. It's not far to go. Probably takes about 20 minutes to get there. So we'll do that. Not an awful lot else going on. Okay, on the FT8, Michael. I didn't get round to it. I've been messing about with computers all week. following on from what we were discussing last week. And I found that a computer I'd put to one side because a radio interfered with it actually does have a SSD. Not a huge one, but big enough. But the one that was causing all the trouble because of the Hewlett-Packard secure boot, I messed with that to try to disable the secure boot, and the whole computer went down. It won't boot up at all now, so we'll have to have another look at that. So anyway, before I time out, I'll pass it back to you, Chris M7CCS T0 EUZ.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yeah, well, however you're getting in, that may have been it. But of course, yeah, what happened is, I actually hit my time, mate. I heard do on my actual radio, and I kept talking, and it must have kept going through the network. Because then I got the check-in from Gabriel as well. So it could have been that, but yeah, it might not have been. But yeah, I get that sometimes. Sometimes someone will drop out on WiresX, but if I turn the volume up on the live stream quickly, I'll hear it back on the live stream. I tried that for Gabriel's call sign as well, but I didn't get it on the live stream either. So yeah, all the ways in it might have missed the front off, but it's all okay. So we will now go round to Lima Bravo 6 Oscar Juliet Ian in Norway.
Lima Bravo 6 Oscar Juliet returning to the group. Yeah, nice to be with you. And Steve, I wondered if I've been on before. I think I have once, but it'll be a good while ago. But I think I've been on once before. And although I like him, I don't do the log. Although I have worked with you on FT8, Steve, and on your 2 Whiskey Hero call sign. So we have worked before. And yeah, I'm originally from Bangor, North Wales, so my original call sign, of course, I've still got when I'm in the UK, is Golf Whiskey 1 India Papa Juliet, but don't get to activate that very often. I'm usually over I'm used to handheld that I'm using at the moment, is when I activate that. So it's most of my time on HF. But when I'm out and about with work, I take my open spot with my handheld, and that keeps me in touch. And usually use cqnorthwest just to listen around what's going on.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yeah, we did get most of that, Ian. But of course, it started to break up a little bit towards the end there. But we did get most of it. So next we go round to Gabriel, and I'm going to stay handy to type in the call sign, because I only got Mike 8 Hotel Yankee. Over to you there, Gabriel.
Yes, the call sign again is Mike 8 Hotel Yankee. Repeat, Mike 8 Hotel Yankee. Hope you got that now for your records. Yeah, it's been a glorious day here in Downpatrick, is where I live here in Northern Ireland. It's approximately 22 minutes directly south of Belfast. And it's been a glorious day here, really, really nice weather. Like, it's not excruciating warm, don't get me wrong, but it's just a nice day. Bright sunshine. It wasn't really warm, but it was just nice to sit, and it wasn't too hot. Anyway, there you go, man. I'm glad to be coming in the net there. Microphone back to yourself there, sir. Go ahead, my friend.
Yes, thanks very much there, Gabriel. I just missed one hotel out. So that's all good there, Gabriel. So yeah, I've got the contact in there now, and I've updated my own record, as to say. So when I chuck it out now I've just chucked the log onto the live stream, which is on YouTube, up in the corner. Everyone has details, so that's all good. So we're down to the bottom of the list again, so I'll give another call and see if anybody else would like to join the Saturday Ragchew Net. If you would, go ahead with your call sign, name and location, and an over.
I'm Mike 6 Delta Quebec Bravo, Pablo, Scarborough, North Yorkshire. Good evening, Chris. I hope everyone is well. I'm only going to be listening. I've got quite a few things going on at the moment. Sounds like a great net at the moment, especially with a couple of new people coming in as well. So I'll leave you get back to it, and I'll catch you later from M6 DQB.
Yeah, thanks very much there, Pablo. Got you in the log there. Put it as listening as well. So all good there. Thanks very much. And of course, yeah, even participants from YouTube can get into the log if there's a call sign. But of course, it's all good. So thanks very much there, Pablo, for quickly checking in there. So we'll go back up to the top of the list, and we will go back to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Thank you, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa here. Good to meet you, Ian. Thanks for being out here. The last time I was in Norway, I wasn't actually in Norway. I was in an inlet, an ocean inlet, and was doing a joint operations with our Marines. I was in the Navy on the USS Saipan, and we set off the coast. We were supporting the Marines who were doing a joint operation with the Norwegian troops over there at this point in time. And at the very end of the exercise, our CEO was allowed us to take a helicopter's ride above the mountains of Norway. And from 1,000 or more feet above Norway, it's beautiful up through there. The mountains were all, this is February of 1980, they were all snow covered, and the inlet we were at, we were able to see a little small town at the end, and you could see the kids coming out, coming home from school in the afternoon, and then the snow all around. So it was a very beautiful situation. I wish we'd been able to actually land in the country and be able to visit, in there. But I have fond memories of just looking at the mountains and the snow-covered peaks and everything around there. So it's good to have you here. And, well, I mean, as far as the FTA goes, I've done very well this week. As a matter of fact, Monday or Tuesday, I crossed over 20,000 QSOs confirmed. I mean, 20,000 QSOs with almost 16,500 of them as being confirmed. So that helps quite a bit. The FTA helps quite a bit because you can get several of those going at the same time. And with that, Chris, I'll turn it back to you. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, yeah, well, the FT8, of course, here, weather, weather is getting a little bit better. But all those days it's been sunny, it's been windy, and it's had a little bit of rain. And now, it's quite weird, actually. I'm sat here, 8 p.m., doing the net, and I can see a reflection of the sun, because the sun has not set yet. So, yeah, it's nice to have the extra light in the day, as to say, but it does affect, because I'm used to now being sat in the dark doing it. But then again, I'm not used to there being a window right next to me when I'm doing the net in the shack. There was a window in the Shirlington house, but it was blocked because of the next door neighbour's security light shined in. Yeah, so it's nice to be quite close to a window, and of course, yeah, you can open the window, get a bit of air if you need it. as well. But yeah, although it's been sunny, it's been quite chilly. I did put the heating on earlier, but that was because the house was chilly when we woke up. So, right, we go round to Steve, GW5, VOG.
GW5 VOG returning. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, so I was going to make a comment about you saying about the 145 Alive and the people moaning. There was a lot of moaning going on at the in the comments on the live stream of the RSGB AGM. People seem to like hate the RSGB, which I can't understand myself. But amateur radio people, a lot of them do like to have a moan, don't they? 145 Alive. To be honest, I remembered about it this morning, and then I forgot about it. And I was, doing the RSGB thing all morning, so the wife gets a bit annoyed if I do radio all day. But a couple of things about the 145 Alive have annoyed me, but I would never dream of, moaning about it to the people. I think it's brilliant that people are doing that to, to try and encourage people to use their radios and that sort of thing. And nothing's perfect, is it? But, you've got to go with the flow, haven't you, really? But I just can't stand people who moan all the time about radio things. Anyway, I think 145 Alive, if I'm not mistaken, is run by a man called Mark Savage, and he was actually on the RSGB AGM live stream this morning. I don't know, I can't remember. He might have been asking a question or he might have been answering one. I can't remember, but so he can't have been doing it because he was doing that, although he might have gone on in the afternoon. Anyway, so there we are. Let's not have any moaning, and let's all be cheerful. Back to you, Chris. M7CCS from GW5 VOG.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like I just went off because, I was seeing stuff about it and it was all negative, and I was thinking, it's a group. I've done it, and it's a group, of people to get out there, operate, that, and of course, if from home, if you don't normally hear anything, then you might not hear anything, and then if you were saying you ain't hearing anything, and you're not just sat there in your armchair with a bowfang, then you need to ask yourself a question. Is my antenna okay? Is it, all that sort of thing. And if you haven't heard anything, as they put, well, you need to look at your radio for user error because you left a squelch up or something. But I quite often, if I'm up in the shack and I've got the FTM 200 on, and I'll press the buttons on the top and it goes into scan mode, and I quite often hear people on 2 meters. I hear 2 meter nets in the afternoon, and it's kind of like, and people say there's nothing there, but there is there. It's just not a lot of people are hearing it. But then, we are all amateurs, but it's yeah. If I wasn't hearing anything, and I mean not hearing anything, and there was a 145 Alive, and the net controller was meant to be close to me, or on a hill close to me, or something, and I wasn't hearing anything, I'd be asking myself a couple of questions. Or, have I plugged the antenna in? Would be the first one, wouldn't it? But we've all done that. Talking of FT8, you turn on the computer, you've had the antennas out because someone said, yep, storm's coming, so you took the antennas out, and you've gone there, you've turned it on, you've booted thought, oh, I'll have a quick 20 minutes FT8, and you're going, I ain't receiving anything. The last thing that you'll ever think to check is that, oh yeah, I unplugged the antenna, because it looks all good, because with me, and when I've done it, you unplug the antenna from the tuner. So, yeah, it's all good until you look on the tuner and see, oh yeah, there's no antenna in there. But that's just my little thing anyway. And as it's amateur radio day, as well, it would be interesting. So, I'll tell you mine. Anyway, so I'm going to take a pit. Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, just making sure I'm taking a pick long enough there. And basically, yeah, we throw the question out there as it's World Amateur Radio Day. What was it that inclined you to want to start playing with radios? What interested you in the hobby? Of course, I was interested in it because my father was a Charlie Bravo operator, and I've got his Charlie Bravo as well. Yeah. So he was a Charlie Bravo operator. I've got memories of him using a bicycle as a ground plane, as well. There was a vivid memory because I had an older sister, and she had spina bifida, and something went wrong. I was ushered off into another room, but something went wrong, and the true story of the Charlie Bravo, there was somebody coming down the main road, and they come and helped and took my sister to hospital with my dad. His MG, it was an MG, his brakes were on fire when he got there, is what my dad said. He pretty much overheated it as well, but MGBs, they're prone to doing that anyway. But what sparked me to actually get licensed and get involved in stuff like that was I watched a video because I was going to an air show. I've probably said this before, and I bought a boat fang after watching YouTubers thing. But being a novice, it is possible to listen to an airport on a bow fang if they've got a UHF ground frequency. But of course not if you're going to the main air show. You're going to need the common frequencies, so you do need an airband receiver. But that was what got me into the hobby, and I'm not even going to count how many more radios later. Of course, sparked that interest, and of course, being able to talk to people without that drama. We do talk about food and whatever, but we don't have to see it, and we don't have to see all the other dramas, because people don't give the dramas of relationships and stuff and silly little niggles over radio, because we're not really allowed to, are we? Well, it's a gentleman's agreement, isn't it? Sometimes we might have a little moan about that orange man. So, right, I'm going to look where I was going, because I've lost. Okay, taking another third repeat. So I said, look where I'm going, because I've lost myself, but I last spoke to Steve, so we are going to G0 EUZ.
G0 EUZ returning to the group. Yeah, that was quite an over. Yeah, I got in radio quite late, really. I was out in a park, and I came across a chap who was working the CB in his car and working the world, so it piqued my interest, and I was well into my 30s then. So I looked into it and joined a club, a CB club, and one of the guys that was there that I met turned into a good mate, and we went and took the RE together. and we passed together, and we went to the RSGB at Birmingham, the NEC, and took the MORS together. So our licenses are quite close together, our call signs. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. And, yeah, although I have had a few times when I've just got fed up and I've sold up and regretted it. So this time I'm a little bit that way at the moment, but I'm not selling anything. Or if I do sell anything, it's because I've got too many of them. So yeah, what else? I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was now. Because I'm not sat at a desk, it's difficult to make notes of what I want to say, and call signs as well. But there you go. So yeah, I think things are improving. I've got quite a lot of jobs to catch up on, from over the winter. The last 2 days I've pressure washed the patio, so that looks nice and clean. So I'm quite pleased with that. Anyway, back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0 user.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. I forgot. I remembered the pain of my ear. Yeah, I swapped a radio-controlled car for an airband scanner, which I could pick up blue lights on. And I was listening to it, and yeah, I remember the whack I got. And I don't know where that ever went. It's not in this house. I thought it might have been in this house, but they took it away from me because of what I was using it for. Yeah, it was a shame. And of course, then, because it was taken away from me, then using their Amstrad Hi-Fi. Who remembers those? Yep, next we'll go round to Ian, Lima Bravo 6, Oscar Juliet in Norway.
Lima Bravo 6 Oscar Juliet returning to the group. Yeah, well, I got onto radio, I can tell you when it was. I got my amateur license 43 years and 2 days ago, and I remember it well. I passed the RAE a few months before, but I actually got my license on my 14th birthday, because I don't think you're allowed to have them before you're 14 back then. So that's when I got my Golf 1 call sign, or Golf Whiskey 1 call sign. And I've been on CB for about 18 months, maybe less than that. And I used to ride around with a CB, with a car battery on the back of my bicycle, and I'd drive up the hills in North Wales and try and work the X. Anyway, this elderly chap, he saw me driving past him every Saturday and Sunday, cycling past him every Saturday and Sunday. And he had massive antennas in his garden. He lived in this old house, and he says, "Why don't you come along to the amateur radio club?" And I was about 12 or 13 at the time. Anyway, he asked me dad if he could take me, so I went to the amateur radio club in Chester, I think it was, Chester, and I started doing my RE. So and I was on then from 1984 to when I moved here in about 1991. So I was on for about 6 years on that, and I never brought a radio over with me to Norway because I was living in a little flat, and it just didn't seem to be lots going on. So and I kind of forgot about radio until about 3 or 4 years ago, and somebody got in touch, and in my job they were asking about crisis communications if all the ecom networks went down. And he says, "Well, we have got a radio amateur group that could possibly help." So I says, "Oh, I'm a radio ham." He says, "Oh, yeah." So that was it. Within about 3 days, I was back on the air, and so 43 years licensed with about a 37-year gap. Back to net control from LB6OJ. Okay.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra, yeah. It's good, it's interesting that somebody took you under their wing, like that. And of course, it's just, the way it was, you know, they could have just ignored you, they could have just turned their burner on and, oh, there he goes up the, alright, turn our burner on. But, yeah, it's just a nice story. So, we'll go, to Ireland now to, Mike 8 Hotel Yankee, Gabriel. Okay, we're giving him a call just in case he was listening on the live stream. Mike 8 Hotel Yankee. Okay, nothing heard. So, what I'll do is I'll see if anybody wants to check in. So if you'd like to check into Saturday Ragchew Net, go ahead with your call sign, name and location. And then over. Okay, back up to the top of the list, and we can carry on. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo, India, Papa. Right to you there, Michael.
Chris, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo, India, Papa. I was like a lot of those. Started out with CVs when I was about 15, 16 years old, and the CV craze was wild over here in the United States. And I was using my father's license because that was allowed then. You had one license and the whole family could use it. And I talked on it for quite a while in my high school years, and I kind of dropped it and I went to Navy. And even though there was a couple of ham radio operators in my neighborhood, one of them was my friend's father, and I thought it was pretty cool, but I never got into it at that point in time. And married my first wife, and her father was a ham radio operator, and so he was always interested in getting anybody in his family into the ham radio. And I didn't really get into it because I was raising kids at this point in the Navy, going on overseas on cruises. But he was a very good man. I really admired him and respected him. And even though the marriage didn't work out, I kept my interest in the ham radio with his. And he went silent key in about 1998. And so when I had a stroke in about 2013, I needed a hobby that I could sit down and do from a desk, and I decided to get into ham radio. And I started out with a little Bofang radio and talked local to some people around here. One of them was a guy I used to work with at Dell Computers. We worked together, and he talked me into it, and he was the one who actually got me into DMR. And so when I got into DMR, I got my first license, and I moved on up. There's 3 tiers of licenses in the United States, and I'm at the top tier right near the extra license. And when I got that, I decided to change my call sign over to his call sign, so that's why I've got the Whiskey Alpha 5 Romeo India Papa. It was actually Bill's at one point in time, and so I haven't looked back. Like I say, I'm on the RAM radio almost every day, 7 days a week, for several hours every day, and it's one of the best hobbies I've got. And with that, Chris, I'll turn it back to you. Having a great net. I love hearing about the history of people getting into it. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, of course, yeah. I went along to a radio club. Wanted to be licensed. Pretty much, they said they had the exam coming up, and they said, yeah, we've got an exam coming up in 2 weeks. Do you want to do it? Yeah, I was handed a book, and went away, and I went in on the day, went and done the exam. Was told I failed, but of course, a lot of the learning, I was took under the wing of an amateur, Chris. and MW0ODY. And he took me under his wing, and then, because obviously I was worried because of dyslexia, dyspraxia, getting some things wrong, and kind of took me under his wing. I went and done the exam. I was told I failed on the day, and of course, yeah, a couple of days later, certificate popped through the door, and I had an exam booked for the next session as well. And so I didn't give up, even though I thought I failed, but it was just marked wrong, because when it went to the marking, it went through the machine, because you marked your little marks, I'd actually passed. So yeah, it was one of them two-part questions kind of thing, and I think I got the point for one, and a point for another one, which got me the license. But yeah, never asked too many questions because they said I had the ticket. So we go round to Steve GW5 of VOG.
GW5 VOG returning. Sounds like somebody else trying to come on there, Chris. Back to you in case it is that.
Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. I'll see if there's anyone out there. There was a 0 call sign come through the dashboard, but yeah, I thought it was you, Steve. But yep, is there another call sign out there? I will add you to the log if you just go ahead with your call sign name and location. Okay, nothing heard. Go ahead, Steve, GW5 of VOG.
GW5 VOG returning yet again. Second time of asking, as it were. Yeah, just as I was about to press the PTT, the radio started squeaking and whistling. So anyway, perhaps there was some gremlin in the system. Right, how did I start? I got into amateur radio in late 2018. When I was young, I was probably what you describe now as a shortwave listener. I didn't realise that's what I was. My father was a radio engineer, worked for BEA and British Airways, and we had a very smart Pi radio in the house, which had shortwave on it, as well as all the normal medium and long stations. It was a big cabinet, and it had a Magic Eye tuner. I always remember that. And I used to listen to Radio Moscow, Radio Peking, I think Radio Hanoi, all these seem to be all these communist things. And of course, I always remember, I didn't know what they were at the time, and I do now, the number stations, mostly coming from East Germany. So there'd be some guy or some woman saying lots of German numbers. As I say, I had no idea what they were, but now I know, because there's been lots of stuff on YouTube and things like that about them, hasn't there? Yeah, I think I obviously when I retired, I was kind of looking for a hobby, and I think I started looking at things on YouTube, and I might have accidentally seen an amateur radio thing, possibly the what's the American guy called? I forget. I'll remember in a minute. The Ham Radio Crash Course. He's Josh something or other. Yeah, I think it might have been featuring a Bofang and saying about how much it cost. And I thought, blimey, I can't believe that. It was like £17 in Britain or something. You can get a radio for that. So I sent for one and got one and went from there, really. I like to think now it's, you know, I'm kind of like honouring my father, being timed out there. I can't believe that. I can't believe it. Anyway, yeah, I like to think I'm sort of honouring the memory of my father, but I don't think that's really why I got into it. He never was a radio amateur, but he could do Morse code. In fact, I can remember him often sat at the table just before a meal, tapping out Morse code on a spoon or a fork or something. And yeah, so he was, you know, he loved Morse code. And he used to, I think he used to say, "Oh, one day I'll get an amateur station or something," but he never got around to it. I suppose when you work at it, maybe you don't want to do it in your spare time as well. So that's that. Yeah. So that I think that's incredible, Chris, that you got the book and 2 weeks later you passed the exam. Very strange that they failed you, first of all. They obviously must have added it up wrong. Because I've been an invigilator and done that, the old, you know, when you counted up everything and told the person whether you thought they'd passed or not, and then sent it off to the RSGB, and then they confirmed it. So very strange that they got it wrong, because I think we had to have 3 people, an examiner and 2 invigilators or something, and we all double or triple checked it, you know. So surprised they made a mistake with that, but I mean, that's brilliant that you passed after 2 weeks. So you can't be that affected by your dyslexia and dyspraxia. So well done. Well done. I'm really impressed with that. So with that, back to you. Oh, finger off the PTT again. I think it's because I've been gardening. I think my hands are a little knackered. So M7CCS from GW5EOG. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yep, it's not using the PTT finger enough. It's not having the exercise. Mine gets a little bit of exercise. It's starting to get that way now. Yeah, if there's not enough exercise when it comes to Saturday, then you struggle to push the PTT. Hi. Yeah, it's all good there. Yeah, I went on a downer in a sense because I thought I'd failed. But of course, yeah, then it pretty much, yeah, then I passed. So yeah, I bought a DMR radio and a hotspot because I'd seen one demonstrated at the club. But when I got my own, I took it along to the club, all happy, and I said, "Can somebody help me with this?" And I just got told, "Look on YouTube." And yeah, I learned a little bit, and I made some little videos. They are very raw. They're still on there. People do still use them, and of course, yeah, I've never monetized for anything, even though the live stream goes out on Ragchew. You know, I've had the emails and everything. I can monetize, and yeah, I've never monetized. That's basically the thing. Of course, if you start making money out of the hobby, it's no longer a hobby, and is the way I look at it. But of course, interestingly, someone from over, I forgot where it was, Western Supermare Way, yeah, I heard them on, I don't know where it was, I think it was 2350 the other night, and they were doing something, yeah, they were using a Raspberry Pi, using DV switch, yeah, I didn't dive into it. Then my YouTube algorithm must have, yeah, a video popped up today that was released this morning, and I looked at it as, you know, using it, and then it didn't actually say how it was done, in the sense it was just, oh, you know, build a TV switch server. Yeah, I went to one video. It was like 13 minutes long. I'm halfway through the build. I was doing it before the Ragchew. I was just sat there doing it, and just going along with the video. So, yeah, YouTube you can learn off there, self-teach. But, of course, a lot of stuff is passed on by people passing on the knowledge. Especially when you're blowing up cheap Chinese radios because you're trying to use a coax antenna, and you know nothing about them. Yeah, right, we'll put it round to Rod G0EUZ.
G0EUZ, back to the group. Yeah, all interesting, that. I had something similar when I took the Morse code at the NEC. It was run by. Well, it was the first time the RSGB had run it, and I thought I'd failed that. And they actually called me back in after everybody had been done, and got them to send a few characters. And then when I came out, I passed. So I have a feeling I didn't pass initially, but they got me to send these characters, and I was definitely better at sending than I was at receiving at the time. It's a shame I lost it, really. I keep trying to get back into it, but I'm not going to, I don't think. So there we go. But yeah, clubs. I went to several different clubs before I settled on one, West Manchester, and I ended up on the committee there. I enjoyed it, and then I gave up the first time for domestic reasons, unfortunately. That one, and I went quiet till I retired basically, and then I started slow and built back up, and when we moved down to Cambridge, I was busy sorting this house out. It took us 2 years it took me 2 years to get it habitable. I was here every day, 7 days a week after work when I worked, and I got rid of the radio stuff, and I didn't go back for a long, long time. But then when I did come back, I came back with a buffet. Like you say, a cheapie. Got me interested, and so I bought something else, and then something else, and it just went on and on. Yeah. Now I've got a shack full. But there you go. I still enjoy it, and I enjoy owning this gear, and I know I used the 847 today on the 145 Live, and but my antennas, I tried 3 different antennas, and none of them were good enough, really. So I could do with a better one, but of course I can't put one up on the roof. That's not permitted. So it has to go up on a mast, and then be taken down. Oh, there's my timeout. So back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0EUZ.
Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Oh, not. Is that well, we'll have to ask a bit more on that one. Is it a conservation area, or is it because not deprived, don't own it, sort of thing? But you said you worked on the house, so yeah, you must own it. But it must be something to do with conservation, or you're just a bit like me. I'm scared to get up them ladders. I know when I establish I've got some stuff established here. I've got a long wire established. I've got the flight radar antenna out there, and I have a mag mount on a tray, and then I've got a little little cheapy antenna, which does the gateway as well. But I've got all the other antennas at the other house. I've just got to get them down from up on the roof, because that's where, well, it's pretty much where they are, just above the roof. And of course, yeah, they need to come over here and come just above the roof. But yeah, I get on okay with them, because it's flat ground, with the mag mountain antenna anyway. And of course, yeah, we're not pushing too much anyway. In wattage I can get to a lot of stuff pretty much with the 5 watts. So yeah, if it's a bit further, we'll increase it to our maximum bar. But that's it. So we'll go round to Ian now. Lima Bravo 6 Oscar Juliet.
Lima Bravo 6 Oscar Juliet returning to the group. Yeah, it's interesting how you get into radio and how people use the hobby differently. Michael in Tennessee, I had a little look on your QRZ page, and I'm looking at your shack there. I wonder if you get out much on HF, and it'd be nice to work you on HF one day, Michael. That'd be fun. I'm mainly on HF, as I said earlier, so I've got an FTDX10 here and a solid-state amplifier and a couple of outdoor antennas, so I get out quite well from my QTH here, so that's good. My XYL doesn't understand my fascination with radio, because in my job, or the job I've got at the moment, I'm actually the mayor of my municipality where I live, so it's a full-time job. So I talk to a lot of people. I spend most of my day talking to people, and she doesn't understand why when I come home from work I actually want to go on the radio and talk to even more people. But it's a different kind of talking, so it's a pleasure. so that's the difference. But she doesn't quite get it, and. Yeah, we're fortunate with the QTH here. We live on a farm, so I can put up whatever antennas I want, really. Well, that's not strictly true. I can put up whatever antennas the XYL doesn't think get in the way of the view. So I've got a diamond to go up the diamond vertical for 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and 13 centimeters. I've got one of those ready to go up, and I bought from a Silent Key. That's me timing out. I'll put it back to you, Chris, and I'll carry on the next round.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Got a little bit of QRM with the phone going off. But yeah, people are forgetful of what I might be doing. So yeah, we've muted that one down. And that's that for now. So yeah, that's all good there, Ian. So right, we will try for Gabriel again. M8 Hotel Yankee. Okay, nothing heard, so we'll go straight back to the top of the list, and we will go to Michael with the Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Thanks, Chris. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa here, and I was going to relay a little story from the very first WA5 RIP, Bill. Bill had a stroke. It was not a devastating stroke. It wasn't as bad as mine, but for about 5 days, Bill couldn't talk. He couldn't form any words. It was a temporary thing. It quit after about 2 weeks. He was back to his normal self. For the first week, he couldn't talk at all. So his ham radio friends would come over to the hospital room, and so to communicate with his wife, his friends would relay what he told her in Morse code, because he would tap it out on the side of his wheelchair in Morse code, his friends would relay that information to his wife Alice. So I thought that was pretty cool that they overcame his inability to talk by using Morse code. It's a pretty cool little story. Ian, I see we have one of the same patient radios. I also have an FTDX10 and a 991 Alpha, and I also have that Yaesu FT5DR. And I do a lot of HF work. I'm either on Parks on the Air or like right now, I'm also right now on FT8. But I also do single sideband. My furthest contact I think with single sideband was Bosnia. Talked to an operator there. But I've made FT8 contacts literally from Taiwan all the way down to Australia and Tasmania. So yeah, I do spend a lot of time on my FT991 Alpha. That's probably my favorite radio. But the FTDX10 is such crystal clear communication. I love it too. And Chris, with that, I'll turn it back to you. Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Thanks very much there, Michael. Right, what we're going to do now is we go around Steve, GW5, VOG.
GW5 VOG returning. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, one thing just popped into my head. Something I meant to talk about last week or maybe the week before. We were talking about the moon thingy expedition orbiting around the moon, and yeah, I think I told you whenever we were talking about it, I did stay awake listening, waiting for them to, after the touchdown, waiting for them to come out of the capsule, and it took an hour and a half, though it seemed an amazingly long time to me. But I gave up in the end and didn't actually see them emerging. But the interesting thing, which I forgot to mention when we were talking about it last time, they had special radios to communicate with the pickup people outside, the divers on the little inflatables outside who were going to rescue them, and they wouldn't work. So they'd been all that way to the moon, communicated, only out of radio communications a few times for a short number of minutes, and when they got down and the people they were trying to speak to were right outside the capsule, they couldn't hear. They could hear the people outside, but the people outside couldn't hear them. And this is the funniest thing of all. Mission Control in Houston, I assume it was, said to the astronauts, are you remembering to press the PTT button? That's what I've been asked to ask you. And so I thought, that's so funny. Because talking about getting into amateur radio, I think, that's one thing that you do kind of have difficulty with if you're not used to using a PTT. You're used to talking on the mobile phone or something. It is a bit of a problem. Anyway, one of them came back and said, yes, we do know where the PTT button is, and he described it. He said it's on the side, the big one on the side, with two small ones underneath it, so we know very well where the PTT button is, and yes, we have been using it. And I thought, that's so funny. They obviously had handheld radios, but they didn't work. Anyway, there we are. That just came back into my brain for some reason. M7CCS from GW5 VOG.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Yep, got all that, Steve. And of course, yeah, and they're quite strange there. And of course, yeah, are using the PTT. You can imagine somebody actually just trying to talk into it, thinking it's a phone. But yeah, it happens, and yeah, people can get given radios, and you know, they're just doing some weekend car park work or something like that. They've gone along to a job. They don't know what the job is, but they know it's at an event. They end up on a car park and they get given a radio. Or they end up as just a steward and they get given a radio. And it's quite strange when, you know, they use business frequencies for those sort of applications. And funnily enough, there was a game the other night, and it was a rugby game at the King's Own Ground. And you've got a couple of stewards, and they were talking to each other, and of course, yeah, there's burger buns in the venue and all that. They're ordering a takeaway. But yeah, you know, but it's novelty. Oh, I got to keep pressing that button. I got to keep talking. And people do if they're not you know, they don't use radio. They see it as a toy, don't they? So yeah, it's like that. But of course, yeah, astronauts. I'm sure they must have used radios before they went there. But all good. So we go around to Rod G0 EUZ.
G0 EUZ, back to the group. Yeah, my problem, Chris, is purely and simply the XYL. She will not have antennas up. So, invariably, I put one up on I have a 10-meter telescopic mast on a tripod, and that goes up with an antenna on, and when I've done, I take it down. I very, very occasionally stretch it a little bit and put a wire up on a fiberglass mast. I leave it up for a couple of days, but I don't leave it too long. So it's a great shame. I've got loads and loads of antennas. I keep buying them, and they're still sat there in the boxes. Got a fabulous half-wave, 80-meter half-wave end-fed, but I can't find a way of getting up. Sort of hidden, you know. So there we go. So that's my problem. All my antennas are inside the building. You know, even the 2-meter usually is inside the building. So it's like 8 foot off the ground. That's all. And a nest of dipoles for all the other bands. I've got a mag loop for 80 meters, but I've never had much luck with that. And I've also got a mag loop for the higher bands, which I've never used really. I bought it off a friend. He was selling up, so I bought it, and it's just been sat there, unfortunately. So back to you, Chris. M7CCS G0 EUZ.
Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Well, yeah. I was in that situation. Wasn't allowed to have them and things like that. But yeah, you put something up there in the sky, and yeah, I managed to sneak my antenna up at one house, and it was literally it was up there, and literally all I noticed is yeah, every time they come in, they don't look up. So yeah, and then once they do notice, it's like it's been there a year. But yeah, but you know, happy wife, happy life is what Ron would say. But yeah, could have a flower pot antenna. It just happens to be a very tall fern to do that antenna. But yeah, we go round to Ian. Lima Bravo 6 Oscar Juliet.
MB6PG-L returning to the group. Yeah, well, my XVL, she's I've got a step IR antenna here, which is a big beam, and an old, which I bought from a silent key sale, and an old Norwegian railway signal mast, which is about 45 foot. It's big and sturdy, and because we live on a hill farm, we live on the side of a hill. I need something sturdy. If it's going to have a big D.R.G on the top, I need something sturdy that's not going to come down in the wind. So we're negotiating at the moment where that's going to go. But at the moment we've got a flagpole on the farm here, and so I've got my ZS6 BKW. So I've got the two legs going either side of the flagpole, one going into a disused telephone mast and the other one coming to the side of the house. And then I've got the ladder line coming down the flagpole. So whenever we use the flagpole for official flag days, the ZS6 comes down and the flag goes up. But it doesn't take long. I mean, the whole operation takes me about 15 minutes getting the flag up and taking the ZS6 BKW down. And then I've got an end-fed long wire which goes between the house and the barn, and that works quite nicely. And I've also got a windham which I'm going to put up soon. I just need to work out where to put it up, because we're very lucky here in terms of the QTH in that we've got a lot of trees that are 20 meters-ish. So lots of trees about, and the wire antenna, she doesn't mind. It's the tower and the beam is the negotiating. What we need to negotiate about. Yeah, and back to Whiskey Alpha 5 RAP. Yeah, RIP. I'm also on FT8 at the moment, but on 20 meters. But there's not a lot coming in from your side of the Atlantic. But there we go. The bands have been quite poor today on HF, and I'm going to have to make the next round my final, because I always ring my mum about this time of the evening. Mum's 87, and I like to ring her before she goes to bed, and they'll be getting off for bedtime soon. So I'll dip out on the next round. Right, back to net control from LB6OJ.
Yeah, Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, we pretty much normally do, and this next round is where we do the 7-3 anyway. So, yeah, there's, well, me and 4 of you in play, but 5 of us in play. So, I will go round to Michael, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa, for your last over, and 7-3. And it's come round quick, but it is dark now.
Chris, Whiskey Alpha 5, Romeo India Papa here, and Stephen's story about the Artemis 2 landing reminded me. I have a friend of mine, well, he was a ham radio operator that went silent key a few months ago, and he was forevermore sitting in his shack, and he would be on HF and didn't want to call somebody local, and he would be calling on HF, push the mic for HF, and would be talking and thinking he was talking locally. And I actually did that a few months ago. I was talking on one radio, reached over and thought I was talking on another one. So it's also not only the pushing the button, but pushing the right button at the right time that can mess you up. Because I've got about 4 radios sitting around me in front of me right now. If I don't pay attention, I'll end up hitting the wrong button. Yeah, I have a Diamond 510 sitting outside my house, and Thursday night, the wind tested it. It was about 60-mile-an-hour wind, and the antenna's rated for 90, so it held up and passed the test. I also have an X50 that I have inside the house, sitting over in the corner of my bonus room that I talk on most of the time locally. And and you are correct, Ian, as far as the contacts go. 20 meters was pretty good this morning, and now it's slowed down considerably the last 2 hours for me anyway. And one last thing before I pass it off, and say 73 says, food porn. My wife made a broccoli cheddar soup this week that was excellent. I had the last of it, I think, for lunch today, but it was very good. Of course, Chris I don't think likes broccoli, but he had quite a bit of broccoli in it, and the cheddar soup in it was just excellent. And that's our food porn. And we'll thank everybody for the great net today and good stories we had. And hopefully we'll gather up next Saturday. Everybody healthy and safe. And I'll turn it back to you, Chris, and say 73 from Whiskey Alpha 5 for Romeo India Papa.
Mike 7, Charlie Sierra. Well, of course, yeah, the cheese actually would swerve it for me. But I do have broccoli. I eat it quite often, actually. And it's not forced on me anymore. I just eat it. And cook it. So, yeah, I prepare most of the meals in the week. And you know, Donna's been at work all day. So we'll go round to GW5 VOG Steve, range you for your last over and 7-3.
GW5 VOG returning, thank you, Chris. Yes, it's come around very quickly, I think. The 73 round, which shows how interesting the net has been. So, nice to hear you on, Ian. One thing I was just thinking, you were saying about your wife couldn't understand why you want to talk after you get home when you've been talking all day at work. Because I imagine that when you're talking all day at work, you're talking in Norwegian. And when you're doing amateur radio, of course, English is the international language of amateur radio. So I should imagine you use English a lot. So perhaps that's why you like it, because you keep the old language going there in your brain. And I know most Scandinavian people these days can speak perfect English, but I'm sure you use Norwegian in your mayoral duties. So, yeah, 73 to everybody. Hope you and your families are all well and etc. I like a bit of broccoli, definitely. I like any vegetables. I used to, when I was a young boy, like a lot of youngsters hate vegetables, don't they? But I really love them now. And actually, the fact that I'm a vegetarian would make that more important as well. So 73 to everybody. Speak to you next week. Thank you, Chris, for being net controller, and yeah, keep up the good work. So M7CCS from GW5VOG in a group. Back to you, Chris.
CQNW weather update. In the northwest today, temperatures are averaging around 9 degrees, with a hint of chilly breezes. Manchester is experiencing 5 miles per hour winds, while Crewe has gentle winds at 3 miles per hour. Over at Blackpool, winds pick up a bit at 6 miles per hour, and Stoke is not far behind with 4 miles per hour. Overall, it's clear skies with a few clouds sneaking in. 7-3 from M0NWX.
Okay, that's the weather update from CQ Northwest. So now we go round to Rod for your last over and 7-3 G0 EUZ.
G0 EUZ, back to the group for the final time. Yeah, all brilliant. That's all excellent. And yes, Ian, I envy your situation. Having a choice of where to put antennas. I'd be all right if I had the right trees, but there isn't any here. It is actually a conservation area, but that wouldn't bother me. I would certainly try and get something up at the back of the house where it's not quite as visible. But there we go. No, I'll stick to the portable masts. I've often said I'll get one of these trailer masts and park it on the drive and see if I get away with that. I probably wouldn't, but there you go. So we'll say 7-3s, everybody. It's been good to talk to you. Have a good week, and we'll catch you next week. M7CCS G0, he used it.
Yeah, Mike 7 Charlie Sierra, yep, 7-3 there, and yep, I was lapsing there, because I got a funny feeling, where Steve said about, yeah, because he gets talking English, but, yeah, also has North Walian Welsh tongue as well, I reckon, so, yeah, it is on the QRZ, over to, LB60J, Ian, in Norway.
LB60J returning to the group. Yeah, regarding language, well, I mean, I'll speak to anyone, me. And I do get on quite a few local nets on 80 meters as well, where I talk Norwegian. So it's I'll talk to I just like talking on the radio, me. And it's yeah, it's fun and it's nice. I like working DX and I like ragchewing, so it's all part of the hobby, isn't it? And regarding vegetables, well, I'm a bit of a broccoli fan and a spinach fan, and I like green vegetables. I actually used to be a vegetarian as well. I was vegetarian when I was a teenager, and I moved to Norway, and it was a little bit Stone Age, the diet here, so it was quite hard to be a vegetarian here, so I lapsed. But I still do eat a lot of veggies, and I've got, because of my advancing years as well, I've got an issue with my eyes where spinach and green vegetables is particularly beneficial. So a lot of greens get eaten, and broccoli is the only thing. It was the only vegetable that my now 10-year-old daughter would eat for a long time. So I think we were having broccoli 6 days a week at one point. Anyway, 7-3's all. It's been lovely chatting to you all, and nice working some of you for the first time. I think, well, all of you for the first time, but a couple of you have worked on FDA previously. So, and hopefully I'll join you again soon. Take care all, and 7-3's from Norway, where it's now very dark. From LB60J, back to net control.
Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. Well, yep, always welcome on the Saturday Ragchew Net. There's one on a Wednesday, but you're probably busy doing duties. It's at our afternoon time. On a Wednesday, you've got Switch's Net, M7 EMH on the same network. However, I believe you get in via cqnorthwest. So yeah, you can get in via that, and of course. Yeah, pretty much whenever you call out on cqnorthwest, you pretty much come through to W.D.R.G anyway, most of the time. So, of course, and especially when there's nets. So, yeah, give a call out, and, of course, yeah, it was all about trying to keep things alive and busy. But, of course, yeah, if you check out W.D.R.G, www.wdrg.uk, of course, yeah, we've pretty much built a network, and of course, yeah, we're on that network, and it's connected to cqnorthwest, and it's connected out to some other places, but yeah, we're not publicising that, so any of that, and of course, yeah, it's all good. So I've been Mike 7 Charlie Sierra. In the net tonight. We had myself, Whiskey for 5 Romeo India Papa, GW5VOG, G0EUZ-Rod, LB60 Oscar Julia Ian, Mike 8 Hotel Yankee Gabriel, and M6DQB was listening Pablo. 7-3 from Mike 7 Charlie Sierra.
Yeah, thanks Chris from M6 DQB.